kung sino man yung responsible ng pagkakatanggal ng budget ninyo, the House of Representatives has nothing to do with this. And after the BICAM, some miracles were performed.
This is the Senate. This is the Senate report. So sa Senate,
It happened during sa BICAM, and after BICAM, that's where it got lost. Sir, it has been happening. Believe me, I was a DSWD secretary even just for 6 months. I've learned a lot of things. Na nawawala po ang pondo pagdating sa BICAM, pag-akit po sa Senado, nawawala.
Mr. Chair, paano ba natin malalaman kung sino yung responsible dito?
Based on press report that it was the good Senator Imee Marcos that proposed to slash.
Mr. Secretary, dito sa presentation mo, you have, I have noticed that you have consultative meeting with the DBM on January 29, 2024. What transpired with that meeting?
Basically, nag-worry ho kasi kami dito sa wala yung kulang natin.
Deficit.
Unappropriated 9 billion. Nag-worry ho kami diyan kasi nagko-comply na lahat. In 1 to 2 weeks right after Holy Week, tapos na yung compliance. And of course, our beneficiaries will start looking for their grants. Kasi
Yes.
nabayaran na natin yung iba, last I mentioned. So a big chunk of this will start saying, oh, complied na kami, but ayaw nyo kami bayaran. And between us, mahirap sabihin na hindi man namin alam paano ipapaliwanag. So
Okay,
to speak.
Mr. Secretary, for more clarity, so these 9 billion that we are talking about, that you have a discussion with DBM, are exactly on education grant, on rice subsidy, and the
Health, yes.
health grant. No.
Health grant.
Health grant, correct.
Ano?
So this is the totality of that 9 billion that is unappropriated right now.
Iba pa yon. Yes, sir. Tama. The two of you are correct.
So, again, ano pong sinabi ng DBM?
I am no expert in appropriations, but we were trying to contest na doon sa special provision. I'm sure you know this very well.
Yes,
Na we can, na our contention was, if I read it, the 106 billion appropriated herein for the Pantawid Pamilya shall be used to support poverty reduction and social development strategy of the national government, provided that the 4 Ps covered are eligible beneficiaries under section blah blah blah. The said amount includes cash grants, rice subsidy, and the other grants thereof. The above mentioned beneficiaries are compliant. In our opinion kasi, as long as compliant ka, and then beneficiary ka, you're covered by this. Meaning we can use our contention, and we're probably not right. I'm sure we're not. The current appropriation, plano namin sana gamitin for the previous payable. Kasi it made no distinction, in our opinion, the special provision made no distinction between years. Diba? Parang sinabi niya, basta kung tatagalugin ko, kasi nandito yung mga ibang 4Ps beneficiary, na kung ikaw ay kwalipikadong beneficiaryo ng 4Ps, dapat na gamitin nyo tong pera na to pang bayad. It never, in our opinion, in our humble opinion, never said 2023 pang 2023. We're treating it hopefully like a trade payable. Na pagka nakalibro siyang payable, just like any other supplier, pwede mo gamitin yung current appropriation. But we're still waiting officially for DBM's written answer. They're also doing their due diligence on the matter. So yun ang naging ending namin.
So in other words, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Secretary, the requirements and the prerequisites that
Have been met.
entails on that program was satisfied
Yes.
by the department,
By the
And-
beneficiaries.
by beneficiaries and the department.
Yes.
With that, it was included as well in the National Expenditure Program. The budget of
Yes,
in
correct.
the NEP for
Correct.
2024, it was included,
Both for 2023
and 2024, it was included.
Yes.
So in other words, it passed through the Congress. So we have seen the appropriated amount that was written on the NEP. So what happened to the 9 billion that now you are asking if we were able to appropriate on our side about this 9 billion pesos that was written on the NEP?
Okay, Mr. Chair, I can't assume what happened. Basta all we know is that when we submitted our NEP, our proposal, it was there.
Yes.
Kasi we have a rough estimate of, di ba, we're assuming that all 4.4 will comply. So when we submit it, buo po yun. Now, what happens inside Congress, we're not privy to it. So, yun ako, I'm afraid I cannot I cannot hypothesize. But one thing I can say, in the national expenditure, when we submitted it, mas malaki pa nga. In our tier 2, mas malaki pa yung
And
sinabit.
that's the reason why, Mr. Chairman, I want to be educated on this issue, because when the good secretary was here in the last budget hearing, he never approached us on this issue precisely because he assumed that the budget will not be touched or be realigned. And as a matter of fact, ang pagkakasabi ng ating good secretary, mas mapalaki pa nga yung budget. So I'm wondering what happened to that budget that was slashed out of the budget of the Department of Social Welfare and Development. Mr. Chair, maybe you are privy on this, so can you kindly give us an
No, we have to check muna kay Secrex. Kasi Secrex,
yes.
if you, in your presentation, I just follow your presentation. Kasi proposed budget nyo nga is supposedly for fiscal year 2023, 119 billion, di ba? And it was lost by 4 billion. Tama?
Ang pinasok sa NEP is
Yeah.
115.
Of course, your
Yeah.
proposed budget is 119, di ba? So it's almost
Very close to
close
each other.
to 4 billion. Now, but in the GAA, it's only 102 billion. Tama?
Correct.
Kaya
Correct.
nawala yung 9 billion.
Ang nawala sa 2023 po is in the third column. Negative 13
Kaya,
billion.
tama. Negative 13. Pero
Ang
yung
sa
deficit,
2024,
Pero yung-
negative 6.5.
pero yung deficit na dito for 2023 is only 9 billion
Correct. Correct, sir. May difference po talaga.
because of the listing.
One, the non-compliance of others, di ba?
Okay.
We maximize all the time. We always assume that they will submit. Pero some of them will not comply, so lumiliit po siya.
But anyway, just to
I'm not a member of the Committee on Appropriation, and maybe I am not
anyway,
truly,
nandito po yung senior vice chair, but before
Sir, if I can add the
wait,
Mr. Chair, may sagot na po.
yes,
ako dun sa
please
tanong.
proceed.
The reason bakit merong gap between the deficit, the projected deficit, and the decrease, the proposal, is because 95% lang ang compliance. May 5% ng populasyon ng 4.4 hindi nakaka-comply. So, hindi natin sila babayaran ng grant na yon, that particular grant.
So instead of 13, 9 lang talagang actual,
Yes,
not
yes,
deficit.
yes, Mr.
Kasi
Chair.
yun lang po yung talagang na-qualify.
Yes, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
and you have explained this, Mr. Secretary, sa DBM, that the priority is this 9 billion.
You've explained both. Both will become priorities. Mr. Chair, yung 6, kung pupunta na lang kami sa DBM, hiningi na namin buo.
Yes,
Kasi yung 6 billion come end of the year, hahabol din yun eh.
so in other words, kapag hindi tayo nakapaglagay ng 9 billion dito, in other words, magkakaroon tayo ng talagang more deficit.
Yes. Yes,
Diba?
correct. You're correct.
Yeah. So what will happen if ever na hindi natin tumalagyan ng 9 billion for this year? In the next year that you will be submitting your budget for 2025, how much will be the deficit?
Mr. Chair, I can give you a bird's eye view. No? Yung 9 billion na yon, a big chunk of that are education grants. No? A big chunk of that are education grants. Halo-halo siya, pero malaking porsyento nun are education grants. I'll just give you the data collated for the past couple of years. Because of that education grant, 81% of the beneficiaries registered better school enrollment. Ibig sabihin na i-enganyo silang paaralin yung mga anak nila, papasukin yung mga anak nila, kasi may grant.
Yeah.
A lot of them have shown, 81% of them have shown at good attendance and enrollment. Number 2, 89% of them, dahil nasa school sila, nakakakuha ng deworming. And these are very vital interventions that we envisioned when this program was created. So kung hindi natin, I can only assume na pag hindi natin mababayaran yung education grant, tatamarin, pangit man pakinggan yung word na tatamarin, suddenly they'll go back to diba, we're correcting a behavior here. We're telling them, pag pinapasok mo yung anak mo, marirealize mo na para sa iyo yan, pero may konting insentibo o tulong pang gastos. Eh pag hindi na natin yan mabibigay, baka mag-regress sila pabalik. The good rates that we are getting, the initial success of the program might regress.
In other words, all the efforts and the hardship that we gone through with this four-piece program will just go to naught.
Yes, and what I'm trying to say din is we cannot send the wrong signal
Yeah,
to our
correct.
beneficiaries
Yeah.
that government cannot be relied upon. Na pag kinomit natin, what we owe them, we pay them. That's what I'm scared of, na mawala ng kredibilidad yung programa in the long run.
And that's the reason why, Mr. Chairman, we wanted to find out why this 9 billion or the 15.6 billion was cut out from the department. And this representation would like to find out the real answer. And being not a member of the Committee on Appropriation, I cannot really say why that budget was cut. So, can anybody
Anyway,
give me
are you done?
no, yes, I'm done.
Anyway,
I'm done.
Sec Rex, to ano lang siguro, just to reformulate the question raised by Chairman Dan, if he allows. What's the reason of both houses na inislas?
Mr. Chair, with all due respect, I have ceased being a congressman last year. So wala na akong internal, I don't
No,
know
no.
exactly.
No, kasi
Hindi ko na alam eh.
Sec, kasi sumulat ka, di ba?
Yes, to reiterate.
Yeah, so
na
what's the
wag
reply? Doon na lang muna tayo. What's the reply of the lower house, or the bigger house and the smaller house?
And we did not get a reply.
Reply?
From both chambers, we did not get a reply.
Oh, Senior Vice Chair ng APRO. Walang ano daw, walang
Mr.
reply.
Chair, we don't question it. We wrote to reiterate. We didn't expect an answer.
Anyway, pero
Mr. Chair, hindi pa po ako
sandali,
tapos.
ano lang, susugan ko lang yung mga tanong mo. Pero, Stella, will you answer the query of the...
Mr. Chairman, kasi wanted to be knowledgeable on this issue because it might happen again in the next budget hearing, and it worries us because marami tayong four-piece beneficiaries doon po sa Santa Rosa at sa buong lalawigan ng Laguna, and we are trying to secure. Kailangan po natin ma-secure yung ating pong mamahirap ng mga kababayan, and by doing so, we have to find out the root of all of this problem. Kaya, Mr. Chairman, I demand an answer from this committee. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Bakit this committee? Anyway, Senior Vice Chair, Stella Kimboy is recognized. Please proceed.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I will share with you information from the committee report of the Senate, which shows that the amendment came from them. So the reduction of 6.5 billion was proposed by the Senate.
What?
That's for Chairman Dan Fernandez. Please behave well. Please wait to be recognized before you speak. Senior Vice Chair, that is for the 2024 budget. That's 6.5.
Yes.
No, dalawa kasi yan, yung 2023. What happens in 2023? Which is 9 billion. Well, in fact, 13 billion ngayon eh. Di ba? 13 billion. Di ba? Pero, of course, ang deficit ngayon,
What I have with me are the 2024 documents.
how about the 2023, the 13 billion?
Ay, nakalaban. Kukunin ko.
Please proceed. Sige po.
Yes,
2024 muna tayo.
I
Please
can
proceed.
read the 2023, but what I just cited was the 2024.
So that's on record that it was the Senate. It was the Senate.
So the 6.4,
sandali.
Mr. Chair? Ay, sorry, Mr. Chair. Sorry po.
Dandahan. Ako muna. Anyway, Senior Vice Chair, so yung 6.5 billion was realigned. Paano nangyaring realignment? Saan pumunta? O nga, pero kasi
Of course, there are many agencies, right? So, kailangan mong isa-isahin.
pero what agency benefits
I mean,
The big chunk of that, 6.5.
well, Mr. Chair, we'll have to look at 6 other pages kasi 7 pages yung Senate report.
Anyway, please check na lang parte yung 2023 din, yung records, no? Then balikan na lang natin mamaya. Yes, Chairman Dan?
So yung 6.5 billion that good gentlewoman from Marikina was saying, a 6.5 billion was cut out from the DSWD fund. And saan nagpunta yung 6.5 billion? And who proposes that cut out of that budget
Well,
cutting from the DSWD department?
Hindi naka-indicate which particular member. Ang naka-indicate lang sa report would be the department.
But was it proposed by the lower house or was it?
This is the Senate. This is the Senate report. So sa Senate,
Mr. Chairman, can we possibly get a copy of that because we are not privy on that issue?
So the amendment was done at the Senate.
Yun lang po malinaw, the amendment was proposed by the Senate. Pero of course, may minutes sila dyan, di ba? Kaya lang, we're not
Yes.
aware of, and we don't have the document. If you ask them about the document from the Senate,
Yeah, we will be asking the good gentle lady to if ever that she's a senior member of the Committee on Appropriation, probably she can give us a copy of that. And with that, Mr. Chairman, probably we can see the light. And with that, I submit, Mr. Chairman.
thank you, Chairman Dan.
Mr. Chair,
Before,
Mr. Chair,
sandali po. Is it related to the
yes,
query?
yes. May
After
I interject?
Congressman Erwin Tolfo, I will recognize Congressman Jesse Abalos, then Chairman Akop. Please proceed.
Mr. Chair, maybe we're asking the wrong people on this matter. Ang kailangan po siguro natin tanungin ay ang Senate, what happened, saan dinala? Simple as it is, hindi po masasagot po ng ating kalihim, no matter how we grill him, hindi rin po masasagot ng kasama po natin na Vice Chair ng Appropriation. It happened during sa BICAM, and after BICAM, that's where it got lost. Sir, it has been happening, believe me. As a DSWD Secretary, even just for 6 months, I've learned a lot of things. Na nawawala po ang pondo pagdating sa BICAM, pag-akyat po sa Senado, nawawala. And lo and behold, napupunta na lang kung saan-saan. Not in the AGA, napupunta po kung saan-saan. Believe me. So we're asking the wrong people here. You might want to ask our counterpart. Hindi lang po tayo ng dispensa. Because no matter how we investigate it, wala hong patutungan dahil sila po ang nakakaalam. Simple as it is. We will be wasting our time, hours, and the time of these people here because ginalaw po yun doon sa taas, hindi po dito sa baba. Wala po tayong kasalanan, believe me. It's always up there. For several years now, doon po nangyayari yung galawan. So we might probably call for a meeting, a BICAM ulit, what happened, saan napunta. Kasi kwento tayo ng kwento, tanong tayo ng tanong, hindi yung nasasagot ni Secretary dahil kawawa naman yung tao, hindi rin masagot ni Vice Chair. Kasi nga po wala silang alam because nandoon po sa Senate. Yun siguro, Mr. Chair, that's it.
Thank you, Rep. Erwin Tulfo, for that manifestation. Your manifestation is duly noted. Anyway, this is just a briefing, and we cannot extract information from anybody from the resource speaker.
I know that,
But
Mr. Chair, but
unless-
what I'm saying, sir, is that we will be wasting our time asking and doing this inquiry if we cannot ask the Senate. Otherwise, we will not be able to find a solution, Mr. Chair. We'll just keep on going around and around and around. Then we will be wasting the time of everybody, Mr. Chair.
Anyway, the manifestation of Congressman Tulfo is duly noted. As I've said, after Congressman Tulfo, I will recognize Congresswoman Gise Abalos. Then, Congressman Castro, please proceed. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair. To answer the query of our esteemed colleague, Honorable Fernandez, and to further add to the points raised by Congressman Tulfo, I would like to add to the minutes or the records of this committee a press statement from the Senate. Maybe this would address yung tanong po natin regarding the 2023 budget cut as presented by our DSWD, meron na tayong 9.05 billion deficit noong 2023. Ngayon, kung titingnan po natin ang nakasulat dito sa isang press statement sa Senado, nakalagay po dyan, recommend ang pagtapyas ng 8 billion dahil nga daw mababa yung utilization rate and ini-align ito sa mga ibang programa which are Kalay Seeds, AIX, tsaka sa mga quick response natin sa mga calamity. So sa madaling salita po, yun po ang nakalagay sa press statement ni Senator Marcos po kasi siya po yung naging sponsor ng budget ng DSWD.
Mr. Chairman, siya ba ang chairperson ng pagdidefend na ng budget ng DSWD sa budget?
Noong taon na yun, if I remember correctly, siya po, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, then
sandali.
may I interject? May we ask the secretary then, Mr. Chair. That's what they're saying, sir.
Sandali po. Please wait to be recognized, please speaking. You're talking about the 9 billion.
Yes, I'm talking about 2023, the 9 billion
the 9
deficit
billion.
and the 8
Okay.
billion budget cut for that year. So tingin ko po, Mr. Chair, kung hindi sana natapyasan ng 8 billion ang budget ng taong yon, yung deficit ng DSWD, sana 1 billion na lang. Ngayong dahil natapyasan, umabot po ng 9B. So yun lang naman po, Mr. Chair. Yun yung nakalagay po sa press statement.
Thank you, Congressman Abalos. Reptol po.
Mr.
Please.
Chair, then sinabi nila na nilipat sa Kalahi, that will solve the problem. That will solve the question. Eh kung wala naman natanggap yung pobre, kawawa naman yung DSWD, di po ba? Kasi ginagawa lang tambakan, ginagawang taguan or something, hindi naman niya natanggap. So we'll ask the secretary, natanggap po ba ng DSWD? Nalagay po ba sa Kalahi? Nalagay po ba sa SLP? Para magkaliwanawan ho tayo dito, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Reptol po. Sec,
Thank you,
please
Mr.
answer
Chair.
the
Thank you,
query.
Kong Tulfo. What I can confirm, nadagdagan yung mga budget ng mga programa na yon. But I don't have the data now kung magsusuma total siya doon sa amount na yon at kung doon nang galing. I can, the good congresswoman is here, hindi ako pwede mag-assume na doon nang galing yon. It could be nadagdagan yung mga programa na yon. Totoo yon. That I can confirm. Nadagdagan. Ang hindi ko lang kaya sabihin if nag-add at kung saan galing.
But, Sec, but you confirm that nadagdagan yung mga programang na yun.
Yes.
Okay, sa pagdagdag ng programa na yon, naka-realign yan, di ba? So malinaw, pati implementation dapat nandun, di ba? So can you submit to us? Yeah.
Variance per program?
Yeah,
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we will gladly send to you a copy of a report that will show the increase and decrease per program of the DSWD.
and I'm just interested in the additional fund for
Yes.
particular program.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we
Pati
will
yung
do so.
kung saan in-implement.
Kung saan
Saan galing at saka saan in-implement.
unfortunately, hindi ko kaya
Yung
sabihin
saan galing. Okay, pero kung saan in-implement,
We can send you
Okay,
also
please,
a copy of that,
please
Mr. Chairman.
submit to this committee. Thank you.
We will, Mr. Chairman.
Congressman Marcoleta. Please proceed.
Mr. Secretary, tumaba po kayo.
Low carb.
Rigors of the job don't get to run anymore, Mr. Chair.
Before you proceed with the indulgence of Congressman Marcoleta, let me remind the members of this committee present here that we have to be in the plenary before the votation for the RBH. Yun daw talaga dapat physically present tayo. Hindi ko alam. Tumembre lang yung COMSEC, so magpapa-tembre lang sila. Kung kailangan natin muna temporarily mag-adjourn, then siguro mag-resume tayo even during the break if the leadership will allow us. So please proceed.
Salamat, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'll start from the issue of the slashing of the budget. Magkano po yung nawala talaga, Mr. Chair, sa budget niyo?
Mr. Chair, in the table number, which year, Mr. Chair? 2023, 2024.
Yes.
2023, 13 billion. 2024, 6.5 billion.
And would you have an idea as to why this is lashing of your budget?
Mr. Chair, ang assumption ko, if you look at that earlier trend kasi, the department really had underutilized amounts nung 2020, 2021, 2022. And kung titignan nyo yung corresponding slash, parang magkatugma halos yung hindi namin ginamit at yung tinatanggal. I can only assume.
Maybe your assumption, Mr. Secretary, is correct because it jibe with the numbers.
Comes close.
But even if that is correct, and considering that your budget tries to address particularly the PPP beneficiary, the four-piece beneficiaries, did you bother to inquire as to why these slash were made in the first place?
We wrote a reiteration na wag slash and justified why it should not be so for both houses.
And what answer did you get? if
We
any?
did not get any. Unfortunately, we did not get any, but we weren't expecting rin kasi it was more of asking.
And also, did you ask who was responsible in slashing your budget?
Mr. Chair, we wrote that letter prior to the release of the GAA kasi we were lobbying in both houses na wag mabawasan.
Because the last time we checked, I think the House of Representatives has nothing to do with this. And after the BICAM, some miracles were performed.
Mr. Chair, that is what it seems from this earlier part of this briefing.
I'm not a usual participant in a BICAM. I believe I participated in one BICAM only. And I got frustrated. It's boring.
Why?
Pag nandun ka, hindi mo alam kung ano nangyayari, Mr. Secretary. Andiyan ang contingent ng Senate, andiyan ang contingent ng House, but there are only two people talking together, isolated from the rest of us. So, ang gusto ko lang itanong sa inyo, kung sino man yung responsible ng pagkakatanggal ng budget ninyo, alam naman nila na merong target people, beneficiaries, more particularly yung four-piece. Did they underestimate your judgment or your capacity to put some numbers to address the needs of the four-piece beneficiaries?
Mr. Chair, I think I can only assume again that at the time of the hearing, even in both hearings, mababa talaga yung utilization namin. Nasa 30%, 17%, because we were cleaning the list. But we kept on repeating, and the minutes will bear me out on all the budget hearings, that I kept on assuring our policymakers na ma-reach namin yung full disbursement because talagang we had a dedicated team doing the listing, the clearing. So we were very confident.
I believe you, Mr. Secretary.
But it
As
could
a
be
matter
that
of fact, when you were appointed the Secretary of DSWD, I thought that was the best decision the President ever made.
Thank you.
Ngayon, ang tanong, ikaw na yung nandun eh. Okay, palagay mong wala na tayong sisisihin kung ano man yung mga nakaraan, di ba? Merong, siguro, hindi naman sinasadya yun, talagang ganun. Nagka-problema yung iba. So, nagkaroon ng underutilization. But will you utilize that particular issue only para tanggalin mo yung budget, especially now na merong itinalagang secretary who is serious enough to do his job and to address the problems as he see fit?
Mr. Chair, I have to give credit where credit is due, and not because Congressman Tulfo is here. He started the cleaning of the list.
Yes, I know that also.
During his time, there was an honest to goodness effort to
Yes.
clean the list. And they should have, well, we were hoping that the policymakers saw that effort. Sineryoso talaga yung paglilinis ng listahan.
And considering that there was already a serious effort going to this direction Like for example, Secretary, now Congressman Tulfo did his best also until you succeeded him. Bakit naman dahil lang sa perceived low utilization ng budget ay inislash yung ganito kalaking pera? Kaya ako tinatanong, are they questioning the integrity of the numbers? Kasi buhay itong mga ito eh. Palagay na natin talaga merong underutilization. But are they supposed to correct a mistake by another mistake, Mr. Secretary?
Well, sana hindi ho. Because like we said, we gave the assurance and during budget season, babalik ko ulit ako dito eh. At matatanong ako ulit na, o bakit yung pinangako mo hindi pa rin nangyari? Kaya nga pinanindigan talaga namin na ituloy yung paglilinis at seryosohin yung paglilinis. We were probably hoping that they gave us the chance to show full utilization. Total, at the end of the day, babalik at babalik kami sa Kongreso to ask for money. At makikita nyo ulit kung noong 2023, hindi namin na-utilize. Then, walang credibility yung hiningi namin na leeway.
400 or 800,000 households, equivalent to something million 4-piece beneficiaries. Yung 4-piece PPP, Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino program, talagang tawid lang eh. So, with this, talagang itatawid mo lang eh. You are not even sure how far you were able to tawid him. Baka nandun pa rin siya ng EDS, di pa siya nakakalayo eh. Pagkatapos, biglang tinanggal itong 8 or 9 billion pesos. What is the quality of the tawid system now? Are you not bothered that some of those people na naitawid mo na, baka sakaling isa-isa nang bumabalik doon sa pinanggalingan nila?
Mr. Chairman, I'm very bothered by that. We are very, very bothered by that. And that's why we, for the record, and I guess it's subject to another hearing, and that's why we will welcome the Near Poor program, the ACA program. Kasi that's really meant as a crutch for the near poor. I'd like to think na pag non-poor ka dito, hindi ka naman sobrang yaman, nandun ka lang barely making it in that poverty threshold. And one shock, baka bumalik ka ulit sa ilalim. So, that's a separate topic altogether, but bothered, definitely very bothered.
Yun nga, Mr. Chair, Mr. Secretary, ganun kabuway yung foundation ng program na to eh. Konting galaw mo lang to, baka bumagsak siya uli. So, dapat sana kung sino man yung responsible sa gumawa nito, inisip niyang mabuti ito eh. These are 4 million Filipinos who are supposed to be underprivileged na kung kinakailangan suportahan talaga. Ngayon, maring sinasadya niya, maring hindi. Mr. Chair, paano ba natin malalaman kung sino yung responsible dito?
Anyway, that query was directed a while ago to Sec Rex Gatchalian, but of course he cannot answer it because he's not part of the BICAM. But of course, Congressman Abalos manifested based on press report that it was the good Senator Imee Marcos that proposed to slash the budget for 8 billion, and it is on record now in this committee through the manifestation made by Congressman Abalos.
No, but in fairness to Senator Imee Marcos, Mr. Chair, we cannot make any judgment based on press reports. No? Siguro ang pwede natin gawin, let's make an official inquiry. Paano nangyari yan? Because the good secretary might know that my party list is SAGIP. SAGIP is social amelioration and genuine intervention on poverty because the sector of this representation is the urban poor. Malaki ang stake ko naman dito sapagkat sector ito eh na aking ginagalawan dito. For the longest time I've been representing this. Bakit naman nagkaganon? There should be a reason. Malaking ano ito eh. Malaking problema to, Mr. Chair. Hindi naman basta naisip niya lang, napanaginipan niya, biglang tatanggalin ito. Simply because there was underutilization here and there. Siguro kung pinag-uusapan natin dito are projects, DPW, wala namang buhay na pinag-uusapan dun eh. Unless hospital ang pinag-uusapan sa ibang. Pero ito kasi, pangsalag eh, sa mga taong, itatawid mo lang eh. Dapat palakasin mo talaga yung, kumbaga sa ano, dapat may mga riprap ka dito para hindi sila bumagsak. Tapos inalisan mo kaagad ng ganito karami. This is a very serious issue, Mr. Chair. Sana we should have a formal inquiry. Sino yung responsible from here? Nasaan na pagkatapos ng mag-bycam na wala bigla? Let us do everything possible. Not only probably to identify who is or are responsible, but maybe better, yung maibalik sana natin ito. I hope it is not too late, Mr. Secretary.
Mr. Chair, we appreciate the effort of this chamber to help us cope with this deficit. And we will cooperate with whatever data will be asked from us, as earlier said. We will churn out all the data and send it to the committee.
Yes, nakakaawa ang departamento mo. Sega. How are you coping with this problem?
Well, etong 9 billion, a big chunk of that will come to for netong first semester. First semester kasi nag-submit na ng compliance eh. So, one, we are now expecting a barrage of grievances. Na kompleto na kami, bakit hindi pa kami nababayaran? But more than anything, ang worry namin is the credibility of the program. Once a program is destroyed sa utak ng isang tao na hindi siya maaasahan, then ang worry namin, it might take time to recoup the reputational damage to the program. So we are working against time. That's why nung sa slide sa January pa lang, nagpunta na kami sa DBM. I spoke to Sec Mina. We're trying to find a solution even before the train hits us.
You're correct, Mr. Secretary. Mabuti na lang hindi umandar yung papanood natin. Alam ko sasabihin nun siguro kahit di pa natin narinig. Baka wala na siyang tiwala sa program eh. Kapag yung tao kasi nawala ang tiwala sa program, medyo mahihirapan na tayo. Kapag ang tao tiwala sa program, kahit naghihirap tayo, kayang-kaya mong ilaban yun eh. Because people still believe in the program. Di ba, Mr. Secretary?
You're right, Mr. Chairman. In fact, I keep on pointing to them, nasa likod ni Sec Kimbo yung SNPP. They're a group that represents NCR base, no? Or Greater Metro Manila base, nationwide beneficiaries. Dahil kami nag-uusap. In fact, we have arguments kung bakit ma-exit. But at the end of the day, we always leave the room saying na we'll keep on studying. They're part of the group that pointed out the moratorium. They're part of the group that also pointed out the delays. Yung unseen na tawagin namin, yun wala na lang bigla. Dahil sa kanila rin yon. And ang worry ko, alam rin nila to na tutuligsain rin sila as the officers kung bakit hindi nabayaran. O pinangako na may moratorium, pinangako na nabalik, pinangako na mag-submit, babayaran. So, worried rin kami, pare-parehas. Kasi nag-submit na ng compliance, doon ako na, I'm a bit worried with that. Kung ang tao nag-submit, ibig sabihin done na siya sa assignment niya, our assignment is to credit it to their accounts. And alam niyo ng SNPP, we've had numerous meetings on the moratorium, on the targeting, on the retroactive payment, pati yung unseen na tawagin namin, yun nawala. Pinag-usapan namin yan extensively.
We fully sympathize with your predicament, Mr. Secretary, and if anything that you can suggest that this committee will do, please suggest.
We will, Mr. Chairman. We'll collate ways forward also that maybe the committee can consider as a means to move forward.
Paglilinaw lang. So, as a result of this cut, this budget cut, Sec, linawin niyo lang sa amin once and for all. Ano ba yung effect, di ba? So, meron bang natanggal sa listahan? Ilan ba yan? Or number two, wala naman natanggal, pero nagkaroon ng delay in payment. Kung meron man, ilan ba yan ang nagkaroon ng delay in payment at ilang buwan ang delay in payment? So para lang maging maliwanag, kasi parang Ang dami kasing words na nababanggit kasi baka mamaya ang naiisip ng mga tao na as a result of the cut, yung dating nakalista, hindi na nakalista ngayon, which I don't think is the case. But anyway, yun na lang po, para lang maging maliwanag po yung flow of discussion po.
Mr. Chair, it's a very good question. Yung mga hindi kasama sa problematic accounts, yung hindi na-delist nung una, tuloy-tuloy hong tumatanggap yon. Sa katunayan, natanggap na nila yung P5, yung P6 on schedule na matanggap nila. Ang nagiging affected accounts here are yung original na na-delist na binalik natin, yung mga unseen na hinahanap natin, yung bigla na lang nawala. Yung retroactive na pinangako natin sa kanila ang naapektuhan. Bagamat portion nun na bayaran na nung Disyembre, dahil nga meron pa rin mga unpaid na 9 billion, yan yung maapektuhan. Mr. Chair, we will gladly enter into the committee records the actual breakdown of the 9 billion, but in top line na data, 839,000 of varying types of grants. My health grant, my rice, my education. We'll gladly submit this. I have it with me. But again, rough top line, and I shouldn't be doing this, but just to give you a broad idea, 839,463 are affected. Will be affected kasi kakasubmit lang yan na sa amin na, sabi ko nga, first semester, mababayaran na dapat retroactively as we all agreed during our plenary hearing here. So yan yung maapektuhan. Of existing beneficiaries, correct. Of those that we returned, of those that we are still trying to located already, and hopefully yung malolocate pa.
Thank you. We shall await the report, Mr. Chair. Thank you.